Well, good evening, Tony. I wanted to take a moment here and review the lesson we had yesterday. When we take a look at the screen here, this is kind of a two-way portal here, or a two-way position where we could see one of the things on the right-hand side that we talked about during the lesson, which was your grip. Two was initially your stance in as well. So I'm actually going to flip you back around on your stance here on the left and kind of show you a little bit better picture of what it looks like here. Now, when we look here, what we kind of talked about, and you can kind of watch yourself as you sit down into it right there. Now, when we look at that stance, one of the things we talked about was trying to get into a little better position of where the weight is on the balls of your feet. Kind of like when you played baseball or played soccer. You know, you don't run on your heels. Your weight's not back on your heels. Weight's going to be have to be back onto the balls of your feet. So by being on the balls of your feet, you can kind of say, you know, here or there that it's more probably into an athletic position rather than sitting back into kind of a comfortable position. And this is, you know, not only you, but everyone falls into this. I myself did it for years, so now it's just to a point that that's even when I haven't played all winter long, that's the first thing I think about when I, you know, set up to the ball. So something very simple, just as that, we kind of switched up the stance and kind of showed you there. Now, what I'm going to show you here is this is kind of what it looked like right here, actually here. You can see that the weight, you know, we're standing up a little bit taller, weight's a little more forward. You know, it's forward this way rather than sitting back this way on our heels. Now, big difference, and when we look right here at the heel, you can see if I put, you know, drew a line right up the back here of you, and it just kind of showed you, you could see a majority of your weight forward compared to if I drew a line right up the, you know, right up the back here, you could see that the weight is kind of a little bit more back behind, and you got more of that rear end or that tush right there behind, back on your heels. Okay, so you know, and where that's a problem is from time after time, that becomes more of a problem of, you know, transferring your weight, making a proper turn back and forth. Now, as we take a look to the next position, what's going to be that of your grip. You know, the reason I say that of your grip, what we've seen, as I said, you're just a little strong with that left hand. Now, when we look here, you know, in this case here, you probably see 1, 2, 3 knuckles in this position here. 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 knuckles at times. And what that causes is an instant position to where when you go to take the club back, we notice that first position being of the hands pulling the club back rather than actually getting the extension and the turn back and forth through the swing. So we could watch this. You can see your first move right there, and then vice versa, the head going back. You know, in the head, that'll be something we talk about later on, because what you see, when I show you as an example of, let's say, Sean O'Hare here. One, you look at two positions. Let's draw a little line on Sean here, and then kind of watch as Sean goes back. You'll watch this position here, his hands and the club start back with one piece. As we go forward, here we go. Almost there as I'm trying to... You see, it's one piece, and the piece of, you know, all pieces involved in this takeaway all go back together. Rather than we watch here, you can see that the hands initiate the initial part, and as you take it back, you can kind of see that right hand is really just pulling that whole body back to the side. Now, let's go back here, back to the beginning, and show you this again. I'm going to draw a little line on the side of your head here, and just show you the difference, just to get you back in the same position as Sean is over here. Look at the difference. One, how your center or your head moves back behind the ball when you're taking it back, because that right hand or that left hand really strong pushes it back, which pushes your body back. We look at Sean here on the right-hand side. We can see the center staying right there, makes the turn up, and then you see the drive down with the legs down and through the shot. Now with yourself, we see it, you pull up with that right hand, stronger hands here, and then we see the drive down, but as we turn down and through our shot, we can see the body in a nutshell being back behind or angled back as a drive. And pretty much this is almost kind of like our softball or our baseball swing as we're coming into this, whereas we watch Sean, look at this case here. But what we see here is you can see how Sean, as he gets the impact, here's a straight line. Heads right over where the ball was. Weight is forward, and we're turning into this position rather than staying back and leaning back and kind of seeing that kind of turn from right to left-hand side. Now, we will eventually get into that, but kind of got outside the box there, and sure, kind of got a little ahead of myself. But, you know, this is where we eventually will work to on the left-hand side, but obviously we got to break you down and kind of take you from there. So, obviously, what we looked at here, again, we're going back to the grip, getting back on point. We'll focus in here and kind of show you, here you are there, and then right here. We can see where, in a nutshell, the grip is this way, whereas left hand's a little bit weaker. So ideally what I want you to see, what I said is you would initially start by putting the club and your fingers are kind of right there at your palm, and then wrapping that left hand over to where you see one, maybe two knuckles, you know, on that left hand. Now, taking that in turn, once we get the grip, once we get the stance, what I gave you was what I call the waist tie drill. Now, by going to the waist tie drill, what we want to talk about is by pushing back with the left hand and left shoulder, as you go back, you take the toe of the golf club and take it right along the side of this 2x4. So as you take it back here, both positions work together. We don't see an automatic set with the hands as we do in this particular swing here. Big difference, a little more extension, a little more turn in the shoulder, just by getting you to drag that club back or push that club back along that 2x4, you know, 12 to 16 inches going back. You know, sometimes I say 18, but it's always in that position to where we stay consistent, but we keep that club going back on that line, besides picking it up right away like we've seen on the left-hand side here. Now, what it looks like behind. This is what it's going to look like behind you. Let me switch you back around here and kind of show you here. You can almost watch yourself right here, kind of pick that club up. And what I want you to pay close attention to is right here. Watch them hands. It's almost like you can watch that right hand just kind of pull it straight back and up as you take it back. And, you know, that's that strong part as you do that. So, you know, what we're trying to do is try to involve the whole body initially is what I'm trying to do with you by giving you this waist tie drill and showing you to be able to take the club back. Now, so on the right-hand side here, what you'll see is you'll push back with that left hand, hit the ball going back, toe stays along the club, and then we just slightly turn it up right to about waist high. What we see is a big difference between our position on our left-hand side and our position on our right-hand side. Night and day difference. So, and then all I want you to do then is pull back down with the left hand, come back along the rail, through impact, hit the ball in front, and then turn up right in front like as if you're handing me or shaking my hand or handing me the golf club in front of you. You know, big difference between you see that and then in the softball swing as we finish through here. You know, big difference between turning through and then driving through like we see on the left-hand side. So 2 sets of 20 reps, what I'd like to see is right here with the waist tie drill. Second, when you go to hit the ball, what I want you to do is nice and slow, keep it nice and smooth. You know, I want the ball maybe going 15 yards, so it turn 45 feet, you know, but initially just nice and smooth back, nice and smooth through. Here, so you pull back down with that left hand, hit the ball off the tee, we come back through here, and we go up. So what it's going to look like is something like this right here. So the first one on the right-hand side is what I want you to do at the house. I want you setting up each time as you do it, nice and slow. Devote 5 minutes to it. If you can, doing those 2 sets of 20 reps. And then when you go to the range, this is how I want you warming up. Slowly taking the club back, hit the ball, and it's slowly driving down and turning through is what we're wanting to see. A little better here on the left-hand side of where we're at, but you know, all we can do is improve upon what we're doing, and that's slightly we were trying to make a change, and we'll see a change, but what it's going to make a difference of. So as we look on the left-hand side here, I'm sorry about that. I had to take a break there. As we watch the club go back and as we turn back through, we want it nice and smooth. So we want that left hand pulling down, not the right hand flipping it through, which we can see there. Right hand flipping it right there. And we want to see more of that position of dragging it down and turning it through. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a good look here. Let's look at Adam Scott. Okay. Now watch as Adam takes it back, turns up to the top of the golf swing. Look at the difference here between our two positions. You start to bring it down, you can watch how right here, look at that right hand, kind of flipping it there as we come through, little to no turn with the hips, but look at Adam. His hips are already at an angle turning through, unwinding through it, and we see that club extending out towards the target. So that left hand pulling it through, then we get the rotation of the forearms and the hands as we come through. So that's all I'm really wanting you to do is I want you to feel that rotation through without trying to force it up back and forth, okay? Now, if you have any questions, by all means, let's review. We worked on the stance, we worked on the grip, and then we worked on more of a waist high, kind of a takeaway position, pushing back with the left hand and then pull it back down and through with the left. So trying to get the club on a better position, a little more extension back and forth. So now, Tony, if you have any questions, by all means, I want you to give me a call, 314-724-6539, or shoot me an email at michaelwyattgolf@gmail.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Wyatt. Today we wanted to talk about the waist high drill. Now, initially, the waist high drill is going to help us on our occasions that we discussed today about how as we take the golf club back, and we're probably coming back a little too much to the inside. Now, what the idea behind this drill today is initially doing it very slow, just like we're working out. You know, we're not going to do it fast. We're not going to do it, we're doing all kinds of push-ups back and forth really fast, but the whole point of this is the muscle memory. Trying to learn that as we take the club back, we're almost handing the club back to us. So essentially what it initially looks like is as we take the ball back, we're going to set up to it like we normally do. We're going to initially push back with our left hand. And as we push back with our left hand, we're going to almost take the club right back on the same line. And then as the club comes up, we're going to feel the toe of the club go up to the top of the sky. Now as we come back down, we're going to feel the left hand pull back down. We're going to feel just initially the body's going to naturally turn through. But as the club comes down the line, it's going to extend out towards the target and just almost extend out to the exact same point that it was on the right-hand side. Now I'll show you to the face on here a little bit what it looks like as well. It is basically the same thing, but you'll see it on the side view now. Now as we do this, it's very simple. We're going to push back like we said with the left hand as we push the ball back, nice and slow as we come up, and it should look like if you look right down the line and followed your head down the line, you should see almost that club extending right straight down the line, toe being up. Now as we come back through, we're going to pull back down with the left hand, down through impact, extend down the line to our target. Now what I'd like for you to do is do 2 sets of 20 reps with these, seeing the initial nice and slow, taking a break each time. You don't have to do them, like I said, nice and fast, but as we do it nice and slow each time, we do 2 sets of 20, just like we're playing 18 holes of golf. We've got our front 9 for the first set, and the second set's going to be our back 9. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to give me a call at the store. Thank you.